Representative Adams,
Here.
Bailey, Baker, Burrell,
Here.
Casper,
Here.
Terry,
Here.
Chase,
Here.
Pop,
Here.
Crockett Hubbard,
Here.
Dean Shinbrot,
Here.
Fitzgerald,
Here.
Flax,
Here.
Fortner,
Here.
Foster, new baby, Brickman, Gothier David, Gothier Lauren, Gustafson, Handline,
Here.
Hanscom,
Here.
Jacome,
Here.
Jones,
Here.
Katowski, Merritt, Terry,
Here.
Powers Kristen,
Here.
Powers Sean,
Here.
Pacino, Ray, Richards,
Here.
Rusk, Jill,
Here.
Russ, Jason,
Here.
Starkly,
Here.
Stevenson,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Washington,
Here.
Watson,
Here.
Wells,
Here.
Whitehouse,
There.
Whitney. Oh, there's Pacino. Whitney,
Here.
Whitney. I see Pacino though, so I'll put Pacino in as 29.
Baker is here too.
That'll be 30,
Bailey's here also.
29, 30, 31. How about Gothier David? Gothier Lauren? I think they're away. Merritt? Gustafson? Okay, we'll just keep an eye out. We're at 31.
Thank you. So the
Oh, wait a
first,
minute, excuse me, 30, Mike Whitney, are you here? Okay, no, Sima, you are 32.
yeah,
Okay,
I
32,
am.
sorry, 32.
you didn't call my name, but now
I
you
didn't,
did.
I got interrupted with Baker and Bailey, sorry.
You call Merritt?
I asked for Merritt and I don't see him.
So let's call this meeting to order. Did you say we have 32 members present?
32,
Which
yes,
is a
ma'am.
quorum.
32.
So let's begin with a moment of silence. And a salute to the flag. Could we have Representative Jason Rusk lead us in the salute today?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
The flag.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty.
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Madam Moderator, you do have 33, unless I can find more.
Okie dokie. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from our April meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, Adams.
Who seconded it? I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Was that Representative Crockett Hubbard?
No,
No,
Adams.
Oh, Adams, sorry.
So moved by Flax, seconded by Adams.
Okay, So we have a motion to approve the April minutes of the R.T.M. made by Representative Flax, seconded by Representative Adams. Is there any discussion or questions? Representative Chase?
Yes, I was just wondering if we were voting on the latest ones that the town clerk sent out with the correction in it.
I'm voting on the one that I got in my packet. I don't know if there's, I'm not familiar with versions of the minutes. I apologize.
There is an amendment that she did under K1 on page 5. That has been amended to read, Moderator Ebbin encouraged all committee chairs to schedule their budget review meetings. Rep Chase stated that she had attended all of the town council committee of the whole budget review sessions. She stated that there's a lot to be learned at these meetings and she urged members to watch these meetings. Rep Chase's statement is attached to the permanent record because there were some misinterpretations in that original paragraph, meaning the very last sentence of that paragraph. So the town clerk revised it to read what I just read.
I got to apologize. Everyone is really breaking up for me, so I didn't hear the last part. So my minutes, just so I know what I'm voting on, say, don't say anything about your comments being attached. Is that what you said is in the most recent version?
That is correct.
All right. Are there any other changes?
Not from me.
Okay. Thank you. And any other, did Representative Burrell have his hand up?
Yes, but I answered my own questions. I'm all sorry. All set.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes as amended from our April regular R.T.M. meeting, and that motion was made by Representative Flax and seconded by Representative Adams. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So I'm assuming those are not opposed. Those are in favor. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is anyone opposed? Now, please state it. Okay. Any abstentions? All right. Those minutes are approved unanimously. 33 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Thank you so much.
With the amendment.
With the amendment as amended. This is the portion of the R.T.M. Now we're at citizens petitions where the R.T.M. welcomes comments from citizens. Each presentation should be limited to 4 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit written comments. Presentations should be limited to matters pertinent to Groton. Moderator or members through me shall ask questions only to clarify the speaker's presentation. Responses may be given by the moderator or by the town manager, and citizens should state their name and address for the record. Do you know if we have any citizens who...
No one had contacted me, and I didn't receive any communication, emails, or phone calls except for people that were not going to be attending. I mean, as in representatives not being attending. So that comes later.
Okie dokie. All right, thank you. So receptions of communications, I did hear from Representative Pacino and Representative Gustafson that they would be late possibly, but I see Representative Pacino's here, so delete that. Representative Foster is still busy with his new child, and Representative Ray also had emailed me that she was unable to make it tonight. So those are the ones I received. Did any other communications?
Representative Katowski said she could not make it, but I see Representative Ray.
Oh, you see Representative Ray. Okay. I see Representative Ray. Sorry about that. I'm trying desperately to go through my emails. I thought I saw that, but maybe it was from Monday. That's probably what it was.
In the old days, you'd have a list, but
yeah. Representative Fortner.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I just wanted to share with the committee that, or the R.T.M., I'm sorry, that I received a communication. It was to myself, Representative Flax, and Representative Frickman, and I just wanted to quickly read it. It's very short. It's from Bruce and Carol McDermott. at 328 Noank Road in Mystic. And it says Bruce, Cindy, Tom. I don't know what percentage of the budget is the new bonding, which is the only justifiable part of the proposed increase, or what can be done to knock down some of the increase. But we surely feel this is not a reasonable tax increase. Hey, Quinn, excuse my dog. Surrounding towns have done much better, and this COVID year is not one to be generous with personnel or projects. And the 5.6% increase is using some fund balance. Is frugality simply impossible in Groton? Please do what you can to eliminate this egregious spending. Bruce and Carol McDermott. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. I just received this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Madam Moderator, through you, may I ask Representative Fortner to send that email to us so I can attach it to the minutes?
I would be
bet.
happy to. I would be happy to, Madam Clerk.
Representative Washington?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I didn't receive any communications, but on the R.T.M's behalf, you did send a communication to the town council about the recommendation to have a policy to do something with unassigned fund balance. Have you heard back from the town council?
I have not heard back from the town council. No, they have not confirmed receipt. I think I did get confirmed receipt, and that was it.
Okay, so we don't know what they're planning to do about that recommendation.
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I want to mention that we did get some referrals. I'm going to note them now. So there are 6 referrals going to finance. One was referred at our last meeting in April, which is Groton Heights School Sale. We are also have a referral for the Pleasant Valley School Sale, Mystic Coastal Access Wayfinding Signage, Crystal Lake Road Reconstruction. And then there are 2 fourth quarter transfers. One is for insurance claims and debt service, and the other is for legal fees that were unexpectedly large. So those are going to be referred to finance. And so Representative Washington, you should be receiving those soon, and everyone on finance as well. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just as a clarification, the Groton Heights School sale was given to the Finance Committee between meetings, and they did meet on the 20th of April, so they're prepared. It's on the agenda for this night.
Oh, okay, great.
Also, there are the fourth quarter transfers. There's a little more than that. The committee will receive the full referral that you mentioned, so they'll know the whole thing. Okay.
Thank you. And I apologize. I see that Groton Heights, and I was actually at the meeting. So, Representative Flax.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I was just referring back to the question that Representative Washington asked about the council and the referral. And I have an email from John Burt that went to you and I and Chase Foster, because he asked, and he basically said, the council is going to be discussing fund balance requirements soon in a COW meeting, though at this point the referral doesn't include the R.T.M's recommendations. The council will be looking at whether to increase the minimum fund balance requirement from 12% to 15%. And that was dated April 19th. That's all. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Burt, do you have an update on that?
Nothing new on that one.
Did they discuss it on the 19th of April?
They did not discuss it at the full meeting. They all received it, but it has not been discussed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Representative Flax. All right. Any other communications? No. All right, so the next item on our agenda is a report of the town manager.
Good evening, everyone. First, for the financials, the fund balance as of April 30th, 2021 is approximately 27 million, which is 20% of the FYE 21 general fund adopted budget. The contingency fund budget, which started at 350,000, is at 348,000. However, we have some As mentioned, some items coming forward, including one large one. And the capital reserve fund balance as of April 30th is 1.09 million. For COVID, you'll see the last week we ticked up slightly for COVID rate from 12.9 to 13.7. Tomorrow, the new numbers come out, so I'm hoping they drop a little bit again. Hopefully we'll see some more forward progress on that. You might be interested at our July 27th, Cow, and I'll remind you again later. The Connecticut Department of Transportation is going to do a presentation on potential improvements at the intersection of I-95 and Allen Street. So that'll be July 27th, tentatively. You also should have all received a invitation to register for the Mystic parking study on presentation on May 27th. Just a couple public works notes. The HVAC work has started at Par 4. If you remember adding more air there, gets awfully hot there in the summertime. It'll be done by mid-June. They're working early in the morning before everything's busy there, starting like at 5:30 in the morning. There's a planning for a tentative groundbreaking for the Nautilus Dock project at the museum. Knowing Town Dock, that'll be repaired in early to mid-June. So that's coming soon. See, and kind of exciting note, no set date yet, but soon we're looking at opening the transfer station on Wednesdays in addition to Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So that'll be good. At the, I think it was Monday night, maybe, the moderator had asked about the fee in lieu of sidewalk ordinance. I spoke with Deb Jones, the assistant planning director. We do not have one yet. Part of what you do need is an adopted sidewalk plan. She thought, though, with that connectivity grant that Parks and Rec are working on, that might have enough information in there on sidewalks that it could serve as a sidewalk plan. So we'll see how that comes out. Whether I think it's a good thing to look at. I'm interested in it myself. If you go by the Raheem Carter Park, we did add a new sign for those who went to the event earlier this summer. The older sign was getting a little worn. We did replace it with a new sign. It was getting a lot worn, so it's a good change. And then speaking of a couple other things you sent to the town council, if you recall back in August, you had sent something on crosswalks on Easter Point Road and Thames Street in the EV area. That was forwarded to the city in their jurisdiction. Mayor Hedrick did say they looked at that. They added some new signage, but the Department of Transportation was not, they recommended against the bump outs, or the speed humps or speed bumps. And then another one that's outstanding, well, the Cork report, the town's Public Safety Committee has forwarded that to the full town council for further consideration. So that is progressing along. And then other than that, I'm sure some of you and maybe have seen a couple of my posts, but we have there's a parking area on Riverview Avenue in Noink where it's been traditionally public parking. The front half of it along the road is actually private parking, even though it's been used for public. They did place some stones up along there, blocking access to the town portion. We are working through their attorney to pull together a meeting, and I have hopes of resolving this soon. So it sounds like they're willing to work with us. So I'll keep you updated on that. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Burt, is that that near the Gosa property that is on that cove there, or is this in a different place?
I'm not sure where the Gosa one is in comparison to that. Sorry. Someone else
I
might
think
know.
that's near the Ford Lobster on Riverview Avenue, which runs along the river.
Got it. Thank you. Representative Thomas, you had your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just a quick question for the manager. I wanted to ask this earlier before the report, but in regards to that letter for the finance, the consideration about the unassigned fund balance.
Yes.
If I understand correctly, it's the mayor and yourself that work together to create the agenda for the town council. Is that correct?
Well, for something like that, you usually, well, it depends. It could either be a referral from 3 members of the council, or typically I work with the mayor. I put it down, but the mayor makes ultimate decision.
Okay, so I guess I know a lot of people in the R.T.M are very eager to see that item discussed. I'm not sure what sort of weight or priority might be attached to a referral coming from the RTM. Is there any sort of,
Sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I was just gonna say, is there any sort of priority or any sort of flag we can put on that to kind of accelerate the process?
I can ask again, but might be helpful too, just to have the moderator reach out once again. So if the two of us remind the council,
Okay, thank you.
I will do that though.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Representative Fitzgerald? Representative Fitzgerald, you're on mute. Did you want to speak? Okay.
Yes, I apologize for that. I have a question for Mr. Burt, please.
Sure.
Mr. Burt, you mentioned knowing Doc earlier. One of my neighbors said there was a problem with the handicap parking down there. Will that be part of your work that
I
will
had
be
not heard
done?
of it. Parks and Rec is handling that one, but I had not heard of that, but let me check on it. So it's an issue with the handicap parking.
Yes,
I will look at that and get back to you.
thank you.
Representative Perry?
Yes, I just, John, you was talking about the new signage over at the park. The family and myself, again, would like to thank the town of Groton and the Parks and Recreation. And it's just a beautiful sign. It does justice for the park. So thank you.
It was needed. I should look around at other parks too and make sure they're all in good shape.
They look good, at least in Pequannock Bridge.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Representative Flax?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. John, just a quick question. You had mentioned the no-wang dock and you said there were repairs. I think we replaced that like 4 or 5 years ago, didn't we?
It was damaged during a storm. I think it was last summer. A boat got thrown into it.
Okay, so it's something that happened after the dock was replaced.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's just going to be, I don't think it's a really big major repair, but it's only going to take a couple days to do it apparently.
Thank you very much. Is there an economic development report? Is Mr. Reiner wish to, or?
He didn't, I asked him, he does not have a report for tonight.
Is the superintendent of schools here and wishes to just give a regular report? I know we have education on our agenda later, so.
Good evening, everyone.
There you go. Hi, Superintendent Austin. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Well, we're happy to have our students back, 5 days a week. We're just thrilled to be doing so many of the end year activities for kids. I put together a whole list of the different events because we've been able to have these vaccination clinics. Many of our juniors and seniors will be fully vaccinated by the time these end year events happen. So, and those who aren't will be, we've been authorized to be able to give a COVID test in the schools for those students so that we could see if a negative result so that they can also fully participate, dance at the prom, graduate on the grounds. We have a rain date. So the 17th or the 18th and 19th are our dates. So we're really looking forward to that. In addition, because of the CARES Acts, and this is something that I can come back and talk to you all in more in detail, but we had a CARES Act 1, a CARES Act 2, and now there's really a CARES Act 3 virtually. It's an ESSER 3 grant that we're expecting. And there's many things we're going to be able to take care of. But the most exciting thing is summer school and summer camps and summer opportunities through Groton Public Schools. So we can continue and engage kids to want to come back and want to do these fun things. So a STEM camp, a literacy camp, and a math camp for elementary, a STEAM camp for 4 weeks for middle schoolers. And they'll all be tied in with instruction, but because it's got such a wonderful inquiry environment, kids won't even know they're learning. So it's very exciting. And the assessment of kids is coming with SBAC. So we're keeping very, very busy. And if you've noticed, we've got 2 beautiful brand new schools, the Thames River Magnet on the Thames side of town, and then the Mystic River Magnet on the Mystic side of town, and the two principals, Principal Giordano for Thames and Principal Wheeler for Mystic, are very excited to bring their staff together and to really create these magnet themes. And all 5 elementaries will be magnet themes. And we're seeing a lot of our kids from Groton returning to us. So it's really very good news, and a lot of hard work, but we're getting there. We want to go back to better than normal.
Thank you, Superintendent Austin. Are there any questions? Representative Washington? You're on mute. Representative Washington, you're on mute if you want to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I always have trouble trying to maneuver the arrow. Thank you for your report, Superintendent Austin. I hear you talking about summer school and summer camps. Are you providing transportation to the students to get
Yes,
to the
we
camps
are.
in the school? Okay.
Yes, we are. We're
That's
doing
great.
some hubs, so from the schools and also from Pequannock and from Branford Manor. So we've got different hubs where kids can walk to the hub, and then we will bring them to Charles Barnum where the camps are, or we'll bring them to Groton Middle School, where both the STEAM camp and our Apex Learning and Tutoring kind of program will be held for grades 6 through 12. So we definitely want all kids to have access, and we're really going to be encouraging them to attend.
Also, I'm hearing in the community that when the 2 schools open, half of the kids in Branford Manor are going to be bused to the Mystic, what are you calling that? The Mystic River Academy? Is that
So
true
the
that
way-
we're busing the kids out of their community into another community?
Well, the whole goal was to have students who were in their schools be able to go with their classmates to the new schools. So really much of Claude Chester School and SB Butler are coming together at the Mystic River, and most of Mary Morrison with other parts of the other school communities, because we had closed Pleasant Valley and we started moving kids around. We had the 2 magnets already established, but because of the lottery system, students can apply, and we've had many, many families apply. So we may have a lot of students who are in Branford Manor and the Brandegee area who would like to go and will hopefully be chosen in the lottery. So along with having these beautiful new schools and these 5 magnet opportunities, students will have a neighborhood place to go, and they'll have some choice. So that was a very good question.
So the students that aren't going to the Mystic River Academy through the lottery system that live in Branford Manor, all those remaining students will be going to the Thames River Academy.
No, it's actually a half of Branford Manor already is in Catherine Kolnowski. And they're districted for Catherine Kolnowski. The other half was districted to Claude Chester. So because they were in Claude Chester, they're with their peers from Claude Chester. We wanted them to stay as a school community as best they could. And then they'll be joining the SB Butler students. But because of the lottery system, all families had an opportunity to enroll in the lottery and have 2 choices for other schools besides their own.
Ms. Austin, is it not correct that this was sort of the division that occurred prior to the 2 new elementary schools that were there?
Oh, these were already the established, lines that were drawn. So that had already been established for many years.
So,
and really,
so these kids are going to follow with those kids. Is that
with their
correct?
classmates. However, if they do choose to be able to walk to school, there's other schools, other children too in the Mystic River who can also walk to school should they apply to the lottery and be accepted.
Right. And my understanding is that all of the division of sort of where if you chose to stay not in a, if you just chose to go to your magnets, to your neighborhood school, that is on our website where people could then kind of take a look at what school that they would be, that they would go to if they did not apply to another magnet, what the neighborhood school would be. Is that correct?
Right. Well, the students who were in their neighborhood school and did not want to apply for the lottery did not have to. They could just stay there. And there is a map that's on the website that indicates where they are. So that, and parents are pretty familiar with that because we sent out a survey prior to the lottery. So we've really tried to promote this and really teach the families how this all works. And we'll continue to do that, give them information.
Okay. So you're still saying that some of the students that live in Branford Manor are going to the Mystic River Academy, that they will not. I'm talking about the students that are not in the lottery, that because they were scheduled to go to Gloucester, they're going to go to Mystic River Academy instead of going to their neighborhood school.
They will be going to they'll be going with their peers.
I hear you saying that, okay. But they're not going to be going to their neighborhood school, even though they live in Branford Manor.
Not unless they want to apply to the lottery and are accepted.
Okay, well, I have to say, I'm not going to say anything. Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't hear Moderator Ebbin, but I'm just asked to unmute, so I'm soon she's calling on me.
Sorry, Representative Whitehouse, I just did, and I was on mute. You're right.
Okay, we're simpatico. I got you. Ms. House, I wanted to share that, of course, as a parent, my job is to be anxious and fearful about anything that might possibly happen in the future regarding my child. When she first entered public school, I was worried about what the public school system would be like. And of course, going into this year, I had all kinds of new worries. And in both occasions, I have been very pleasantly surprised. Well, not surprised, but all of my fears turned out to be unfounded. I was very pleased with all the COVID precautions, and clearly everything has turned out very well. And the biggest thing that showed me how good a job the system is doing is that when we went from 2-day to 4-day and then 4.5-day. So my daughter's been in Treehouse, which amazing program, by the way. People in other towns are like, oh, my kids are home all the time. And I'm like, oh yeah, my kids would be home, except I live in Groton and Groton's awesome and we have Treehouse. So when she went back to 4 days a week, I was thinking, well, she wouldn't be happy to give up the 3 days of camp-like Treehouse to go to school. And she was like, oh, I can't wait to get back to school and get with my teacher. And I'm like, what are you doing in this class that you like it so much? So whatever's going on there, and I don't have as clear a picture because we don't have in-person parent-teacher conferences, but whatever's going on, she's coming home smarter every day and happy about it. So whatever's going on in those schools, it's working really well. And I'm pleased with what I'm seeing. So I just wanted to
thank you. And we can't wait for families to come back into our schools and into the new schools and even, you know, our new magnet themes. The teachers are like, it's like a revival. The teachers, the administrators, they're just so excited. You would think they'd be exhausted after this year, but they are energized. They're all signing up for these camps. You know, everybody said, how are you going to get the staff? Because I know my staff. They can't wait. They can't wait to play with those kids and be at camp and teach them some really foundational skills while they're really engaged. So they really are wonderful. I have to say a shout out to my staff.
And with the magnet program, you did give us a very hard time there because I looked at 5 schools and I said I wanted to go to all 5 of them.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I had to pick among them. And even now that we've gotten the results, now it's like, oh, I still need to choose which one. But that's because you made some really good options. Like it looks like 5 private schools. It's a really great.
Sorry, everyone keeps breaking up. I didn't mean to interrupt. Are you done, Representative Whitehouse? All right, Chair Watson, did you wish to speak? I saw your hand up. And you are an ex officio member of the R.T.M.
Thank you, my friend. I am just really glad that Susan was able to kind of give a sort of rundown on sort of what has been happening, but I look forward to the second part of the R.T.M. meeting where we talk about the Board of Ed meeting or the Board of Ed budget. So I'm going to reserve my comment for there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. No more questions. We're moving on. Thank you so much, Superintendent Austin. We'll see you in a few minutes as we flip from this meeting to resume our annual budget meeting. So thank you for giving us that report. We do have liaison reports, and I do want to note that I'm still seeking a member who wishes to be our education liaison. So please contact me if you would like that. Representative Rusk, do you have an economic development report?
My apologies. I just stepped away for 1 second, and of course, that's when you call on me. So we're on the public safety already?
Yes, I know. I was asking about liaison reports, if you had an economic development.
I'm sorry, I was actually at an R.T.M meeting that night.
Okay, no, that's no problem. Sorry, you just happen to be on the, I make my own list. Representative Wells, did you have anything from the Golf Advisory?
No meeting, no report.
Perfect. Representative Cassiere, did you have anything from the Town Council to report?
Yes, Madam Moderator.
Oh, thank you.
The Town Council met virtually for the regular monthly Town Council meeting on May 4th. The Council approved 2021-244-1 Fair Housing Policy. The Town of Groton endorsed a fair housing policy to ensure equal opportunity for all persons to rent, purchase, obtain financing, and enjoy all other housing-related services of their choice on a non-discriminatory basis as provided by state and federal law. The Council also approved the Long Island Sound Futures Fund Grant. The Council endorsed the submittal of the grant application to the Long Island Sound Futures Fund for the Resiliency and Sustainability Assessment in downtown Mystic. Pleasant Valley School property sale and referral to the R.T.M was passed by the Council. They authorized the sale of the former Pleasant Valley School. The Town Council approved FYE 2021 CIP Crystal Lake Road reconstruction. The Council approved an allocation of $55,320 from the Capital Reserve Fund unassigned fund balance. Tax abatement for seniors, disabled, and veterans was passed by the Council. The Council authorized appointment of a committee of 5 resident taxpayers to undertake a study of permitted property tax relief options to be completed within 60 days and presented to the Town Council. The Council approved approval of fourth quarter transfers. For FYE 2021, the Council approved a transfer of $9,000 from contingency 1094 to the following general fund departments. Voter registration for the presidential primary was not budgeted in FYE 2021, and a transfer totaling $28,104 to be transferred from contingency 1094 to insurance and claims, $15,000 for increase in unemployment claims, and debt service, $13,104 for April 2020 school bonds exceeded the estimate included in FYE 2021. Lastly, the Council passed FYE 2021 fourth quarter transfers. The transfers totaling $130,000 will be transferred from contingency 1094 to the following general fund department: contributions to other funds, revaluation fund for unexpected legal fees not budgeted in FYE 2021. The next regular Town Council meeting is scheduled for June 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very good. Representative Chase, do you have a lead and R.T.M liaison?
I do, Madam Moderator.
Oh, thank you.
The Town and City Councils, R.T.M, and Board of Education Liaison Committee met on May 5th. The meeting was called to order at 5:30. They reviewed the meeting minutes from the prior meeting and they were approved. The Board of Education report: introduction of the new Assistant Superintendent Phil Piazza. They are a step closer to becoming an international baccalaureate district at the top of the hill at the Fitch High and Groton Middle School. A lot of people visiting, quote unquote, because it's virtual, each of the schools to help the high school look at their school plan, and it helps to look at the district plan. SBAC testing and NGSS testing is going on. There was a ribbon cutting at a greenhouse at Fitch High School purchased through a grant and Groton Utilities. The next year, for the full year, will be, with federal support, all children will be fed. They are having a vaccination clinic at Fitch for 16 to 18-year-olds. Grasso Tech has been contacted to reach out to their kids. NYP program dovetails with the DEI initiative in Groton. The curriculum meeting recently with board and some international baccalaureate diploma programs and some AP classes will marry with UConn credits, so kids will get a certificate and be able to take the credits with them, and this will save money for families. Careers program involves the manufacturing pipeline. Congressman Courtney asked the district what they will submit, and Groton is one of 10 districts in southeastern Connecticut that will have our manufacturing pipeline supported by the federal government. The town council report they finished budget deliberations on April 27th and passed it on to the R.T.M. There was a public hearing for the Neighborhood Assistance Act. They had 3 proclamations for Arbor Day, National Public Works Week, and National Economic Development Week. And then I'm not going to read it all again because Representative Cassiere said it much better, but the town council approved the fair housing policy, the Long Island Futures Grant, Pleasant Valley School Sale, Crystal Lake Road, tax abatement, and the fourth quarter transfers. There was no city council report, and the R.T.M. report was Groton Heights property discussion, which was sent to the Finance Committee for review, and R.T.M. budget deliberations started on April 29th, and they adjourned at 5:52 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Jones, did you have a trails report?
No meeting, no report.
Thank you. And now I know there are many other members who serve on various committees, and if anyone wishes to update us on your committee meetings, please do. I'm not going to go through and ask, but you can take the floor at this point. Okay. And no members who wish to update on committee meetings. We do have, the next item is finance, which did take up Groton Heights property at an April meeting. And so I will ask Chair Washington to come and lead us through those minutes.
Madam Moderator, I'm sorry.
Madam Clerk.
Well, I just want to let you know that we have 34 members. Representative Crichton has joined us.
Perfect.
Should I begin?
Please.
Okay. The R.T.M. Finance Committee special meeting was held on April 20th, 2021. Call to order. Meeting was called to order at 6:31 p.m. on Tuesday, April 20th, 2021 by Chairperson Beverly Washington. Meeting was held via Zoom. Roll call, Representatives Bruce Flax, Clarence Casper, Kathy Chase, Roseanne Katowski, Sean Powers, and Chase Foster. Also in attendance were Town Manager John Burt, Director of Finance Cindy Landry, Director of Planning and Development Services John Reiner, Town Clerk Betsy McAllister, Economic and Community Development Manager Paige Bronk, IT Manager Brian Hancock, R.T.M. Moderator Sima Ebbin, and Registrar of Voters Kristen Venditti and Jeannie Rogers. Unfinished business, none. New business, 4.1, 2020-690-6, Groton Heights property. A motion was made to recommend the sale of Groton Heights property to the full R.T.M. by Representative Powers, seconded by Representative Flax. Discussion. Representative Washington stated that the task of the Finance Committee is to determine whether to sell the property or not sell the property. Director of Planning and Development Services, John Reiner, stated that the Town Council is required to refer properties value over $10,000 to the R.T.M. for approval. Public hearing was held already before the Town Council. Town owns this property and is no longer utilized for use. Property is consistent with the plan of conservation and development. Property went to the Town Planning and Zoning Commission for review. Later, it will go before the City Planning and Zoning for review. Representative Katowski does not support this sale because she stated that the town does not make developers comply with deals they make with them. She stated that the town does not enforce development deals. John Reiner stated that other properties are moving forward and progressing along just fine. Paige Bronx stated that there is a letter of intent with the developer and hoping to move forward. Should the town sell the property or hold on to it? Mr. Bronx recommends selling the property. Representative Casper asked if Representative Katowski is suggesting that the town can't sell property because they don't do a good job doing it, or should we hang on to the property? Representative Katowski restated what she said before, that the town has a track record of not enforcing and making developers comply with deals. Representative Casper responded that once the property is sold, the developer can do what they want with it, as long as they meet zoning requirements. This property has been vacant for at least a decade. Representative Powers stated that the town attorney is in charge of the legal aspects of the sale. Representative Powers made a motion to move the question. There was no second, so the motion failed. Representative Forster asked if the property was suitable for recreation or open space or used by any town department. Representative Forster also asked if there was a reuse committee to discuss what the future use of the property should be. Town Manager Burt said that there was a reuse committee. The committee was a mixture of city and town people. There was a desire to see it redeveloped. The city wanted to see this type of project as well as the town. There's no real value to keep the property as open space. It is a good property for development. John Reiner stated that the town has been marketing this property for a while. The cost to renovate this building would be very expensive. No further discussion. The vote on the main motion to recommend the sale of Groton Heights property to the full R.T.M. was approved by Representative Powles, Flax, Casper, Forster, Chase, and Washington, and opposed by Representative Katowski. So I make a motion to authorize the sale of the former Groton Heights School. And do you want me to read?
Washington, wait, let us approve those minutes first.
Okay.
How's that?
Well, this is only part.
Oh, that's only part of the minutes. I got it. We'll approve it. You're right, at the end of our budget meeting, I guess. Is that acceptable, Madam Clerk?
She can just, it's kind of corridor'd off on her, what she read should be approved because you're going to be approving this resolution tonight. It's very important to have the minutes with the approval.
Okay, so let's have a motion to approve that portion of the minutes. How's that?
So moved. Fortner?
Chase.
Second, Jones.
I got Fortner and Chase. I don't know about you.
Oh, I had Fortner and Jones, but that's fine. We have a motion on the floor to approve the portion of the April 20th Finance Committee minutes made by Representative Fortner and seconded by Representative Chase. Any discussion on those minutes? All right, seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes of the R.T.M. Finance Committee meeting?
Aye.
Deals with
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, those minutes are approved. 34 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Thank you, guys. All right. If you wanted to put that motion on the floor.
Do you want me to read the resolution?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
Resolution to authorize the sale of the former Groton Heights school property. Whereas the town of Groton owns excess buildings and properties that are no longer needed for public uses, and whereas the town has been marketing the former Groton Heights School for over a decade, and whereas the town has been working with the selected preferred developer on a proposal for the site, and whereas Connecticut General Statutes Section 8-163E requires a public hearing by the legislative body on the sale of real property owned by a municipality that has a value exceeding $10,000. And whereas the town council held a public hearing on December 1st, 2020 for the sale of the former Groton Heights School, and whereas the sale of the former Groton Heights School was referred to the Planning and Zoning Commission per Connecticut General Statute 8-24, and on February 25th, 2020, the commission found that the sale of the property is consistent with the Plan of Conservation and Development, and whereas an option for the eventual purchase of the property has been prepared by the town attorney and is under review by the preferred developer, and whereas Section 9.6 of the Town of Groton Charter requires the sale of all properties with a value in excess of $10,000 to be recommended to the R.T.M. for approval, and now therefore be it resolved that the R.T.M. hereby authorizes the sale of the former Groton Heights School. And that's it.
I so move.
I so move.
Seconded, Rusk.
Oh, man.
Moderator, where are you?
Sorry, I was on mute. So there's a resolution on the floor to authorize, there's a motion on the floor to authorize the sale of the former Groton Heights School and refer the sale to the R.T.M. That motion was made by Representative Washington and seconded by Representative Jill Rusk. Is there any discussion on that motion? I apologize. Any questions? I have one question, Chair Washington. I don't know if you can answer this, but in the packet that we received with our our meeting packet, it had what were called exchange parcels, parcel A for parcel B. Did you describe that and I missed it? I'm just curious what that means.
I did not describe it, but maybe John Burt is better at describing that than I would be.
Tell us about what these exchange parcels A and B are and what that refers to. Is one not owned by the city and one is, or I don't know. I mean, the town.
I'll actually let either Mr. Bronk or Mr. Reiner cover that.
Thank you.
This is Paige Bronk, Economic and Community Development Manager. I'm more than happy to explain. So although the town is interested in selling the property, there have been discussions with a particular developer, which I believe people are aware of. That developer, Thayer Mahan, has had conversations with the Bill Memorial Library, and it is beneficial to both Thayer Mahan and the Bill Memorial Library to entertain somewhat of a land swap with certain properties. So on the western side of the school, there's a narrow green space corridor that is town owned, and the Bill Memorial Library owns land that would be more to the north of the existing school building, basically where the old basketball court area is. That lower area is Bill Memorial Library property. So there's a desire to actually do somewhat of a transfer between those two, so that both the school property development is able to get what they need. And also the Bill Memorial Library wants to preserve that space, that green space. So there have been discussions between those two parties.
So parcel A is by the library and parcel B is owned by the library and will be retained by the new developer of the school. Is that correct?
I actually don't have that language in front of me as to which is A, which is B, but those are the two land areas. So like I said, the green space, which is town owned, would, as a part of the swap, go to the library, and the paved area, which is owned right now by the library, would go to the future development.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Any other questions? All right, seeing no more questions, we do have a motion on the floor. Oh, Madam
Sorry, I
Clerk.
thought there was somebody who wanted to ask something. I know, I thought somebody wanted to ask. Did I not hear that?
This is Representative Jason Rusk. I just wanted to clarify that the parcel swap was not germane to the town selling the school property. That would occur after the swap. It really isn't under our cognizance. Is that accurate?
That is completely accurate. Yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily a part of the item tonight. I simply wanted to disclose it because I think many people are aware of that. Certainly the developer and the Bill Memorial Library, and I think people have heard about this by now.
Right. But so if anyone asked the question, it wasn't part of the deal that the R.T.M. is voting on tonight. If it occurs, it'll be between two private parties with land that is no longer owned by the town if and when it occurs.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Representative Rusk?
No, I'm all set, Madam Moderator. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion on the floor, which is a resolution to authorize the sale of the former Groton Heights School and refer that sale. We're not really voting on the referral. And that motion was made by Representative Washington and seconded by Representative Rusk, Jill Rusk, I believe. All in favor of that, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes unanimously, 34 in favor, none opposed, and no abstentions. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, thank you, Chair Washington. So we have, two items on our agenda at this point, which are just budget discussions, which I suppose we'll skip over because we're actually doing the budget, and other business. So is there any other business any member wishes to, that anyone wishes to bring forward at this moment? Representative Jones? No?
No, I was just shutting off my mute.
Okay. All right, well, then I would take a motion to adjourn the regular May meeting of the R.T.M.
Bailey, second.
Who made that motion?
Bailey.
Bailey made the motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Washington.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn made by Representative Bailey, seconded by Representative Washington. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes unanimously, 34 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Thank you so much. All right, so we can now put this aside, and we are going to bring the annual budget meeting of the R.T.M. back from recess. And I just need to kind of reposition myself. Maybe some other people.
Everyone needs to reposition themselves because we're going to have to get our budget books open and our.
Yeah. Now, I have my budget book open now, so.
Well, I can read the roll. I think everybody's ready for that.
Yeah, please read the roll.
Okay. Representative Adams,
Here.
Bailey,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Burrell,
Here.
Casper,
Here.
Cassiere,
Here.
Chase,
Here.
Hop,
Here.
Crockett Hubbard,
Here.
Dean Shinbrot,
Here.
Fitzgerald,
Here.
Flax,
Here.
Fortner,
Here.
Foster's with a baby, Frickman,
Here.
David Gothier, Lauren Gothier, James Gustafson,
Here.
Hayline,
Here.
Hanscom,
Here.
Jacome,
Here.
Jones,
Here.
Gutowski, Merritt, Perry,
Here.
Kristen Powers,
Here.
John Powers,
Here.
Pacino,
Here.
Ray,
Here.
Richards,
Here.
Jason Rusk,
Here.
Bill Rusk,
Here.
Darkley,
Here.
Stevenson,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Washington,
Here.
Watson,
I'm here.
yep, Wells,
Here.
Whitehouse,
Here.
Whitney,
Here.
and Ebbin.
Here.
I counted 36. What did you get?
Yes, I see that Representative Frickman came in at 8:03.
Yes, isn't that lovely? Yep, here we go.
And Representative Gustafson is here too.
Oh,
Yes, I'm here.
yes, he is, number 15. So you've got 36 representatives.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we have our first item of our budget meeting is account 1090, and I would ask Chair Rusk to come up and lead us through. This is the City of Groton, and you'll find it on page 180.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just as a recap, the R.T.M. Public Safety Committee met on April 8th at 6:02 p.m. To consider the FYE 22 budget. For account number 1090, City of Groton Police, the motion was made for $2,688,256 made by Representative Cassiere, seconded by Representative Richards. In discussion, Chief Spellman provided an overview of his budget, reporting that this is a service neutral budget with no additional personnel. City of Groton Police were cut a budget in FYE 21, and this is included in this budget. The budget presented is a total cost of operations. Chief Spellman discussed recent deliverables, including body camera purchase with a grant, the card system for people at risk, which was purchased through a donation, and the car cameras, which are already installed. Chief Spellman reported that the city has a community policing philosophy. All officers are trained in de-escalation as well as body cameras. And additionally, our additional budget requests were included to fund major events, as well as an increase due to the State of Connecticut Public Act 20-01 and Act Concerning Police Accountability. A vote was called for the amount of $2,688,256. The vote was 6 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining. Motion passed.
So I think it's because this is the last item of your minutes.
Yes.
Would you like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
I'm actually found an error in my minutes, so I'm going to have to resend them. But my error was originally the minutes stated the wrong representatives. I had cut and pasted incorrectly. So I will send the updated version to our.
It's okay.
And-
Representative Rusk, it's okay. You can have these minutes adopted as amended.
Okay, then I move that we adopt the minutes as amended.
Second, Adams.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes of the RTM Public Safety Committee made by Representative Rusk and seconded by Representative Adams. Is there any discussion on those minutes? We've already heard that there is going to be an amendment to the members present at the meeting. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we have the motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the RTM Finance Committee made by Representative Rusk, seconded by Adams. All in favor, please say aye.
Excuse me, it's not
yes.
finance, that's public.
I'm sorry,
safety.
public safety. I have to.
Thank you.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Those minutes are approved, 36 to none opposed, no abstentions, and that's public safety. Thank you. Sorry about that. Chair Rusk, would you like to put a motion on the floor?
Sorry, I move the amount of $2,688,256 for account number 1090.
Bailey, second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for account 1090, City Police, in the amount of $2,688,256 made by Representative Rusk, seconded by Representative Bailey. Is there any discussion on this? Representative Washington?
Representative Rusk, am I not mistaken that this account includes health insurance, salaries, and everything else?
It's everything. If you would like, I know there are representatives from the city of Groton here tonight that might be able to better answer all of your questions. I believe Director Uhas, I believe, is here. There we go.
All right. Madam Moderator, would you like us to take it from here and brief you on this account?
Sure, if you wanted to at least answer Representative Washington's question, that would be great.
Well, I think that will be answered in the chief's presentation. So Chief, you can provide your presentation and include the answer to Representative Washington.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if we need, I mean, we heard the minutes, so we have a summary of the account, but if you could just perhaps tell us about if it includes the insurance and kind of benefits.
It is a fully loaded budget. Does that answer your question?
Representative Washington, could you, it's not my question.
Well, now, when you say fully loaded, it means health insurance, workman's compensation, and all that other stuff.
I'm going to let the chief go into the details. Chief.
Good evening, Representative Washington. That is an accurate statement. This is not an operations line. In a loaded budget, it's a true cost of policing. Everything that it takes to operate our operation, so to speak, is in the budget. It's a true cost of policing. There's no anything else in any other lines.
Representative Washington.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Flax?
I'm sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt. Who made the second on the original motion?
That was Representative Bailey. No.
Thank you.
Bailey? That's what I have written down. But
yes,
Thank
it
you.
was me. Welcome.
Representative Flax, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good evening, Chief, Mayor, staff. I just was wondering, Chief, did you guys add a social worker like the town did to your budget this year, or to your team? Thank you.
No, sir, we did not. We operate with mobile outreach that we utilize an agreement that's really existing, not add additional positions to that.
Could you speak up, please? It's very hard to hear.
My apologies, madam. I don't want to sound like I was shouting at Representative Flax. I'm a distance away. It's we utilize mobile outreach, which is a regional program. We utilize them to do outreach. We have not hired a specific position to handle that.
Thanks, Chief. So you guys are set up, is it fair to say you guys are set up differently than the town, that you guys are working hand in hand with that outreach, and so that you don't need to, you kind of take care of that checkbox by the means that you do it that way?
We handle it that way. In the previous meeting, Chief Pizarro had indicated that, and I applaud him putting that in, that's a linchpin of HB 604 became 2001. There's a model that's out there that was used by Chief Esserman in Haven. You can measure the effectiveness of the program, particularly if you direct it towards domestic violence, where you do an intervention after the incident occurred, and you can measure it by the cuts in recidivism, where you got repeat incidents there. And it can be a gateway to people to get the help that they need on a myriad of fronts. And what you have in a capital outlay in there at this point in time may be something long term that may assist you in cutting what you have for calls for service.
Gotcha. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Jones.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Chief, just a question on the I guess your budget increased by $106,000. What amount of that budget do you attribute to the police accountability bill?
Most of our budget increases are driven by the vehicle cut that we had last year. Our fleet is at a circumstance where we're going to have that vehicle replaced, and salary increases. Our fixed costs have remained fairly constant. Where we have an anomaly, and I warned it both to the council and in the previous meeting, is we're using existing city contracts to mitigate some of the costs that we have. We have the benefit of having utilities in here that we were able to go through our HR division and handle that. We also do not have SailFest this year, so that some of the costs that we're driving up there, we were able to buffer in this budget. Now, also, we have a major event coming up around Labor Day, where they're going to have a reenactment at Fort Griswold, which we are expecting to be very heavily attended. So that will likely meet with the increases what normally would have had SailFest. So the chief that replaces me next year may be coming to you with increases from the unfunded mandates, quite frankly, that we've had from the state. That we're in a very fluid situation where a lot of these costs have not been clearly defined.
All right. So I was just sort of comparing that to the town and Groton Long Point both had significant increases because of that, the police accountability bill. So it's just interesting that you've been able to sort of work around it and not have those increases. So
I had great luck this year, sir, but I think my luck is going to run out for next year.
Okay.
I'm team with an increase.
So we'll expect to see them next year. Okay.
Yes,
all right. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not see any other hands raised unless Representative Flax wishes to speak again.
Oops, sorry, Madam Moderator. No, I don't.
Okay.
I'll lower it.
All right.
Excuse me, Madam Moderator,
Yeah.
you have 35 members now?
Yes, I saw that.
Cassiere is here. Okay.
I thought you said we had 36 before.
You are correct. 36, 37 now.
No, we have 37. Okay, thank you. All right. So Representative Puccino.
I just would like to congratulate Mr. Mayor. Good win. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
All right. If there are any comments about the motion on the floor, I'll entertain them.
Only that there's 35.
37, we decided.
That's you, but not me.
What?
No, we had Lauren Gothier coming in at 8:40 at 35. We had Frickman at 8:04, what made it 34. We have now 35.
Okay, I thought I had heard 36 before.
Madam Moderator, can I report through you one thing to the RTM?
Sure, please.
It's long been a goal of the RTM to have interoperability in the radio system within the city, town, and Groton Long Point. I want to congratulate previous RTMs and the current RTM in allowing us to use a SIP, a capital improvement plan onto the town, and we were able to give the city of Groton, the town of Groton, and Groton Long Point that capability. I want to give great credit to a man sitting next to me, Captain Eric Jenkins, during the implementation phase of this, that we were able to get this over the finish line in a COVID pandemic. And I'm very happy to report that you now have interoperability, which has been a long sought goal of the RTM. And it's a great credit to the RTM. It's a great credit to town manager and also to our Mayor Hedrick. So I just wanted to indicate that we did achieve that, and thank you for working with us in the city of Groton to take that over the finish line.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know. That is great. All right, seeing no comments, no hands raised, we do have a motion on the floor for account 1090, City Police, made by Representative Russ, seconded by Representative Bailey, in the amount of $2,256. I have to be honest, I thought that we
I just recounted. Yep. I just recounted. I come up with 36, and I'm really worried about that.
All right. I'm going to leave the counting of members to the. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes. Gauthier abstains. Thank you. That motion passes 35 in favor, none opposed, one abstention. All right, the next item on our agenda, and I want to thank Chair Rusk. We're going to shift over to Chair Dean Shinbrot of Public Works for account 1090, but it's 1090-01 and 1090-04, which is roads and lights.
Yes, and I'm going to need a little guidance from our town clerk on how to do this. When we met, all of us made the same faux pas and voted on the entire number, which included cost centers 1090 and 10901 and 10904, along with the police budget. We voted on it as one number. So here goes. A motion was made for $5,649,927. It was made by Representative Cassiere and seconded by Representative Fortner. There was a brief discussion that the roads in the city cost more to maintain, given the high volume of traffic for those commuting to EB and Pfizer. This amount also includes their insurance. A recent study showed the amount budgeted by the city is in line with what should be spent. Representative Cassiere pointed out that the two biggest taxpayers in the town of Groton are in the city, and the vote passed unanimously. I'm not sure what we're going to put out.
Well, I know this happened, but I didn't stay for the entire meeting, and I'm so sorry that I didn't, but I was quite ill at that time.
No, you weren't there. I
know I never get sick, and that's why I wasn't there. So I'm on emails that we had, and I thought you had the latest email, which would only have you reading your minutes as you read them, and making it known as you have. But the motion that you put on the floor will strictly be the highway and the, just for the public works. So it'd be highway and lighting.
Okay, so the highway portion is for $2,859,000.
Right. But first you got to approve your minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you'll put, yes, you are correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So we have read the minutes. Is that correct? In your entirety.
Yes.
So can someone make a motion to approve the minutes of that Public Works Committee meeting?
So moved, Fortner.
Do we have a second?
Rusk.
Okay, so now I'd like to
A
make.
minute. No, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the Public Works Committee made by Representative Fortner and seconded by Representative Rusk. Are there any discussion on any of those minutes? I know we've had a little discussion because the minutes, the minutes are accurate to the meeting. The meeting had some procedural errors in it. So we're going to approve the minutes, but unless there is someone who is at the understanding of what occurred, this is what we would be clarifying at this point. And seeing none, we do have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the Public Works Committee made by Representative Fortner, seconded by Representative Rusk. All in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay, those minutes are approved. 36 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Thank you so much. Now, Representative Jean Shimbrough, you might put a number on the floor for account 10901.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to put $2,859,107 for cost center 10901, City of Groton Highway Maintenance.
Second, Jacome.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for account 10901, City Highway Maintenance, in the amount of $2,807 made by Representative Jean Shimbrough, seconded by Representative Jacome. Is there any discussion of this? My understanding of this account is that the RTM can do nothing but approve it.
That is correct.
Okay, and there's no questions for clarification?
No, it's a legislative act that happened long before any of us were alive.
All right, so we do have for account 10901, I see no hands raised, no one seeking clarification or asking questions, and this account is in the amount of $2,859,000. Well, Representative Washington.
I'm just curious about the increase. Why was there such a large increase in their budget? It's about roughly $600,000, if I'm not mistaken.
It's $669,161. It's a 30.6% increase.
Thank you. Can they explain that? I know we don't have any choice. And why does it come to the RTM if we don't have any jurisdiction other than just to okay it?
Because the RTM controls the budget and any expenditure over $10,000.
But we don't.
It's just a weird copy. If you remember, I just blanked out his name. We had the former RTM member a couple of years ago who was an attorney that looked into this and worked with our attorney and said, "Oh yeah, they're right. It has to be done this way." We've looked at it a few times. It's just the weirdness of the law and charter.
It's looked at several times in the last 2 decades. And I'm sorry that I didn't send all the minutes and information, but it really is a matter of, it's the way our government's set up. And the only way of changing that is through the will of the people. And I don't think anybody's interested right now. We're just doing a budget.
Mayor Hedrick, do you have an answer to that question about why there was an increase of almost $700,000 in this account?
I will let Bill Robards, the Public Works Director, talk a little bit about that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So much of the additional funds is to fund 2 new fleet vehicles. So dump truck that's outfitted with the plow and the sander. And in addition to that, we have another vehicle, which is the street sweeper. The existing one that we have is at its end of life. Those are the 2 large costs that are going with it. It's also the cost to pave Mitchell Street. That's $332,000. And the last additional fee is for engineering support for the pavement of Quantic Road. That value is $125,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask a question about why I travel on Mitchell Street almost every day, and me personally, I don't see a problem with it. So what is the problem with Mitchell Street that it needs to be repaved?
Yeah, a little bit about that. Sure. So we base that decision off of the, so we have a Street Logics program. That is a program that did a survey across all of these towns and streets, city streets. And we have a metric for that. So there's a cutoff value. So the metric goes from 0 to 100. The metric score for, which is a value of 70, that truly is the baseline. So anything below 70 is considered the bottom end of satisfactory. So leaning into becoming problematic and turning into a failure. The road does, if you travel and you pay attention, there's quite a bit of cracks, much work needed to be replaced for the catch basins and as well into the sidewalk piece. So the metric for that, so again, back to the 0 to 100 score, if 70 is a good, that road averages about 46. So that is really down into the failed category. So that's where we drive. And then we take that metric, we utilize that value plus the frequency of travel. So again, back to the travel from electric boat, Pfizer, and that helps us target the streets that we're going to address.
Thank you.
That road is roughly 17, 18 years old. Average life, typically you get into 15 to 20 years. And with the volume of traffic, that's where we got into the repair.
Thank you. So any other questions? Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Is that paving going to be done in the next fiscal FY22 for Mitchell Street?
Yes.
Yes, you said?
Yes, it is.
So if you're planning to build up the 5 corners, how is that going to affect that new paving? Is it going to get destroyed, or, I mean, how are you going to prevent that from being destroyed with all the big vehicles and everything that'll be coming and going, building?
So this particular project's going to go right to the 5 corners.
Right.
To Aquatic Road, that is going to incorporate the whole circle of the intersection. So it'll all be brand new right through that piece.
So building on 5 corners will not harm that new paving project?
That will be included inside of the Aquatic Road project.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we have a motion on the floor for account 10901, and that's city highway maintenance in the amount of $2,859,107. That motion made by Representative Dean Shinbrot and seconded by Representative Jacome. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I'm going to abstain. Ebbin.
I'm
abstaining as well, Thomas.
I'm abstaining too.
Gauthier abstaining.
That's 4 abstentions, I believe. Washington, Thomas, Ebbin, and Gauthier. Lauren.
Burrell.
And Burrell.
And Chase.
And Chase.
And Adams.
And Adams. Is this getting too complicated?
I have Washington, Thomas, Ebbin, Burrell, Chase, and Adams. Anyone else? Oh, Gauthier. Did I miss someone? Gauthier? Hello?
Gauthier said yes, that she was abstaining.
I abstained.
Right, that's what I thought.
Did anyone not get listed in that?
Did you hear what I said? I said, what? These are the abstentions.
Yes.
Washington, Thomas, Ebbin, Burrell, Chase, Adams, and L. Gauthier.
That's
Anyone
7.
else? Anyone else?
So that would pass 29 in favor, 0 opposed, and 7 abstentions. Is that correct?
That's what I get.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, next motion I'd like to make. The motion for $102,564 for streetlights. And that would be cost center 10904, the city of Groton.
Bailey, second.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor for account 10904, which is City of Groton streetlights, in the amount of $102,564, made by Representative Dean Shinbrat and seconded by Representative Bailey. Is there any discussion on this account? Representative Washington? You're on mute. Representative Washington?
I apologize. Are all the street lights in the city of Groton LED lights? And are we saving money because they are LED lights, if they are?
They are all LED lights, and they were switched over right when I was getting here. I really am not that familiar with the what we were paying before that. I'm not sure if Director Landry would have any general knowledge or not, or the city.
No, I'm sorry, I don't have that information.
But they are all the lights both throughout the town that we pay for are all LED.
Thank you. And John, is this another item that we can't cut?
This is our own expense. It's not, we're required to pay for the lighting throughout the town. We just break up kind of for tracking purposes, GLP and the city. It's something we have to pay if we want to continue on the streetlights. So we do have to pay it, but it's not the same kind of thing. It's not due to a special act.
Thank you, John.
Mm-hmm.
Madam Clerk?
Well, I'd like to put out a few, can I? I'm not kidding. There's so many lights on.
Yeah, I have to agree with the clerk. There's one that shines in my bedroom that I would like to put out. Any other comments? All right. I wonder how much that would save. All right. We do have a motion on the floor for account 10904 in the amount of $102,564 made by Representative Dean Shinbrat, seconded by Representative Bailey. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion passes 36 in favor, none opposed, no abstentions. Thank you, Chair Dean Shinbrat, for that.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
So now, do you want to, does the body want to have a 5-minute break? How about that? We'll reconvene at 9:10.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. And R.T.M.
Body thanks you.
Thank you. Find that on page 173 of your book. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. So I'll read the minutes from our R.T.M. Education Committee meeting that took place on Tuesday, April 27, 2021. It's scheduled for 6:30 p.m. and it's a virtual meeting via Zoom. The members are Chair Mike Whitney, Representatives Kathy Chase, Katrina Fitzgerald, Thomas Frickman, Lauren Gauthier, James Gustafson, Emily Ray, Dane Stevenson, Ian Thomas, and Sima Ebbin ex officio. The meeting was called to order at 6:37 p.m. Roll call, 8 members are present. Representative Dane Stevenson is not in attendance. There is a quorum. New business. First item is 2021-277-5-FYE 2022 budget account review. Account 1080 education. I've got it as page 171 and in the BOE book. Motion by Representative Chase to recommend $77,438,090 for account 1080 education. Seconded by Representative Gauthier. Discussed, passed 8 in favor, none opposed, and no abstentions. Superintendent Austin and Business Manager Knight presented information on the education budget and funding sources. Discussion points included the minimum budget requirement, budget implications of opening the new elementary schools and closing others, health insurance costs, support for children with special needs, and the athletic director position for the high school and middle school. The superintendent indicated that the reduction of $835,643 in the total employee budget benefits will not have to be paid back in subsequent years. That's the portion of the minutes dealing with this budget. At this point, I move the amount of $77,438,090 for account 1080 education.
You have to move your minutes first.
They're not done.
He has 2 CIPs.
Yeah. The minutes aren't done yet.
So sorry.
Stopping here.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Nicole.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for account 1080 education in the amount of $77,438,090 made by Representative Whitney, seconded by Representative Jacome. Is there any discussion on this or any questions? We do have the superintendent to answer our questions.
I'd actually like to recognize Superintendent Austin if she'd like to discuss this budget or make a presentation. I think that'd be helpful, or just answer questions. Anyways, fine.
I'm the only one who can actually recognize people, but that's fine.
Oh, well, I guess I'm discussing about my motion.
Representative Baker?
Yes, thank you, Madam Moderator. I had one of my constituents ask me why they had to buy all new desks for the, I guess it was for the 2 elementary schools. They were going to buy all new desks. Now, I did not check
excuse me. Chair Watson or Superintendent Austin, whoever wishes to answer, please. And you can certainly make a presentation if you wish to.
Thank you very much, Moderator. I'm hoping that we can kind of stay to the budget and not the questions about what furniture or not furniture comes into the new school buildings. One of the things that that I know that the superintendent and I had presented or hoping to present to you is just understanding that about how we got to the 0%, because one of the things that the Board of Education and many of our members are present still is that we were able to get to the 0%. And I'm hoping that we can kind of talk about that more fluently. And I'm hoping that Superintendent Austin can do that. But one of the things that I am most excited about announcing is that in this past year, we were able to also announce that we have an assistant superintendent, and that's Phil Piazzo. And I'm sorry, I'm like losing my mind. I think I'm past my bedtime. And so I just wanted to like recognize him, but that I wanted to like sort of pass it on to Susan and have her kind of be able to present how we got to the 0% budget versus talking about some of the things that we are or not doing. And so, moderator, that's sort of where I'm at.
Well, I think that probably since our education committee has already like discussed it, it's better to just be able to answer questions from members. It's late, and that's, you know, I mean, if there's a presentation you'd like to give, a lot of our members have been, you know, tracking this through committees as well as through the town council. And I personally would like to hear an answer to Representative Baker's query, if that's possible.
Well, I think that really goes to our building projects, and that's really run by a town committee. And that was part of the plan for the two elementary schools and for the new middle school. You know, this was a community that stood behind the Groton 2020 plan, where it was a plan of excellence, equity, and efficiency. And we've seen those efficiencies in this budget, where we've really brought to the town in the past 3 years is 0%. But the building projects, when they build a new school, it's part of the work we do with the State Department. They really want to have a new building with new furniture and not bring furniture from an older building. So that's part of what they do.
Thank you. I'll pass that on.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Representative Baker. Representative Whitehouse.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I actually am curious to hear a little bit about, because Ms. Austin just mentioned 0% increase for 3 years, which seems mathematically impossible, and yet we see it. So curious if they could briefly, not a necessarily a full presentation, but kind of briefly share some of how they are able to achieve that savings.
Thank you. So either Chair Watson or Superintendent Austin, please.
So really the work began last fall, early fall, when Dr. Grenier was still our superintendent, and I was working by his side. And we worked with our central office team and our building principals. And we really started out looking at our budget, where 3/4 of our budget or more is really our personnel. What we give our students is their teachers, their paraprofessionals, their custodians, their administrators. And that's the largest part of any school budget. So when we did the math and looked at the contractual and benefits obligations, the amount that came through was a 3.1 increase. So Mike and I knew that that was not the efficiency we had always promised. And so we looked at, with the closing of these 3 schools and the building of the 2 new schools, we did find some efficiencies. We've called them cost savings. They're cost savings the year after the buildings close, but then they become cost avoidances in the future. We don't have to hire back that extra principal, and she actually is going to retire. So we do see cost efficiencies with the retirements as well. So we really scrutinized the budget to say we knew we wanted to come in better than that. And we did that in a very tactical way. We went back to our principals, and they went through the budget, and our central office folks. And we were able to reduce the budget, and the superintendent's budget was in about a 1% budget, a 1.07. And then Mike presented that to the board. And so he left us in a really good place. And then I worked very diligently with our Board of Ed, and they wanted to see, you know, what it would look like at a 0.4, at a 1, at a 0.4, and at a 0, and what we would have to reduce. And I felt really very confident that with a 0% budget, we were going to be able to take care of the needs of our students. And I would have to say that because of these CARE Acts, and I'd be happy to come back and share with you the support that our district has received from the federal government, from the state government to cover all these COVID-related expenses. So for instance, the summer school programs, the reason we're able to do all of this is not because of the operating budget, it's because of the CARES Act budget. Although we always put a certain amount in the operation budget to cover summer school. This year and the next few years, we have to accelerate learning. We want to make sure our kids gain traction even after a COVID pandemic. So the story goes that we were able to do that work together, and the board did vote on this 0%. And if we look at the past 10 years, if you average out what the increases are in 10 years, it's about 0.5% or 0.64. So we've really been, I think, good stewards of the money, and we've gone out and received competitive grants as well. That's improved our instruction and our teaching and learning and our opportunities for kids, while being able to really scrutinize our operating budget and sustain these grants. So that's our story. It's one we're really proud of. We're really proud of this Groton 2020, and it's this Groton community that has supported what's happening here in Groton, and I'm very proud to be part of it.
Thank you. Chair Watson, did you want to elaborate or add to that?
I would like to add, absolutely would like to add to that. We worked really hard at making sure that we got the 0 increase, which is what the town board and the R.T.M. had asked us to do. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. What I am also kind of like humbly coming back to is that one of the faces that is on your screen is Phil Piazza, who is our assistant superintendent. And so I hope that we can kind of give a wave at him, and that I hope at another R.T.M. meeting, we can introduce him more completely.
Sure. Please, our next meeting will be in June. We would welcome having him come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Whitehouse, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Washington?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I saw in the newspaper that how Norwich and New London was getting money from the American Rescue Plan. I didn't read how much Groton was getting, but can you tell me, Superintendent Austin, how much are we going to receive from the America Rescue Plan, and how much federal funding just for the COVID have we received so far?
So the number that we were given originally was a $7 million number. It's coming under that. We're actually cross-referencing to make sure, but it's about $6.5 million. And that's why I would love to, Representative Washington, come back to you and kind of share with you. There were 3 factors. They called it ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and now this is they call it ARP ESSER or ESSER 3. Another name you might have heard is CARES Act, the CARES Act 1, the CARES Act 2, and the CARES Act 3. And when we put that all together, the total is somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million. And it lasts until the end of September 2024. So it's really going to take Groton into the future and help us to sustain after this pandemic and some of the things that have happened that need to be repaired. I don't know if that answers it, but I'd love to come back and give you more details.
Okay, that would be nice if you come back and give us more detail, but thank you for that answer.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Mr. Burke, can you tell me how much of the mill rate increase is to pay for the 2020 school project? I know you've said it in the past.
Yeah. No, for the three issuances, it's about 5 million so far. This year, it's about 1.4 million increase.
Okay. So, and don't get me wrong, I know I keep harping on this, Superintendent, but you know, I've told you what have been promised in the past, that we're going to have cost efficiencies and savings and all this with the new schools. So I appreciate that you kept it at 0 this year, and I would appreciate you and the board continuing that, looking for efficiencies going forward, because that mill rate pay for the schools is only going to increase. And I really do appreciate you keeping the MBR this year.
Well, and I also have to say a shout out to the committee that was working on the building project, because they did come under budget. So, there was some good news there as well. So I think they're being very efficient too with the building project. And we certainly will continue, to really look at that budget. And when you're coming in every year with about a 3.1 increase because of contractual and benefits, so there is a deliberate cost savings when you can bring it down to zero, because you're having to shave other pieces of the puzzle. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does make sense, and that's what worries me. And when you go to look at all the contracts, maybe you can keep that in mind also.
Yeah, we will. We definitely will.
Thank you.
Efficiency is one of the E's in Groton 2020.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Representative Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. And thank you, Superintendent Austin, for all the work you've done on this. Quick question about the free lunch program that's been happening. I understand that, but prior to COVID, that all Title I schools have been approved to go full free lunch. Is this budget including that, looking forward into the future beyond the end of the COVID assistance funds?
We did receive very good news, Representative Thomas, that this would continue. We thought that this program, at first it was just the Title I schools, but at the beginning of COVID, it included all of our schools, so all children in Groton. And as you know, we have a wonderful school nutrition program. And over the summer, as soon as children are out of school until they return to school, we're feeding all of our children breakfast and lunch until they're 18 years old. So this program will continue more than this year. It will go all the way through next year. So FY22, and that's federal dollars supporting that. That's not operation budget. That's not Groton.
Okay.
That is federal funds.
Great, thank you. And so is there a plan at all to look beyond that, as far as like trying to continue it, to find ways to fold
When
it
we
into the Board of Ed
initiated this at first, I worked closely with Ernie Koshmeter and Ken Knight. And so there was a deliberate effort to make sure, and the board is very, very much supportive of this, trying to figure out a way that we can feed our kids and support them with their nutrition. So there is a process that's in place that we would be able to continue with.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Did Representative Washington want to speak again? I saw your hand up, or did you just forget to take it down?
Well, I did forget to take it down, but I do have a question. And I don't know if this was your program, Superintendent Austin, the food that was being given out at St. John's Church in the parking lot there, was that from the school district or was that from a different program?
I know that we had done a program, or Ernie had found a program where we were sending boxes to families, and that action group worked out of the park in the city of Groton. As far as the church, I'm not sure, but it must have been a community effort of, I don't want to take responsibility for that, but that had to be a community effort in supporting our families.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Representative Rusk?
I'm sorry, I was just going to answer Representative Washington's question. That was through the United Way and the city of Groton.
Thank you for clarifying that. Chair Watson, you had your hand up earlier too. Did you want to speak as well? No, okay. I can read your lips. Sorry, that's fine. Representative Thomas, did you have another question or?
No, sorry, my hand was still up from the last time. Thank you.
Okay, I see no more hands, no more questions. And we do have a motion on the floor for account 1080, education, in the amount of $77,438,090, made by Representative Whitney and seconded by Representative Chacombe. All in favor of that, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Dean Shenbrat.
Adams.
All right, that motion passes. I believe it's 34 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 abstentions. Is that correct? Madam Clerk? I think we have 36 members.
We have 36, thank you.
Okay, all right. So now we're on to our CIPs. Chair Whitney, if you'd like to continue.
Thank you. This is the first of 2 CIPs. I'll read that portion of the minute and then pause. CIP 5C, Northeast Academy Air Quality. This is on page 224. Motion by Representative Gustafson to recommend $215,000 for CIP 5C, Northeast Academy Air Quality. Seconded by Representative Chase. Discussed, passed, 8 in favor, none opposed, and no abstentions. Discussion included information from Superintendent Austin about the curtain drains that will be installed around the building to reduce moisture issues. The hope that this project may remove the need for new air handlers in future years and the likely reduction of wet playground conditions. I would like to move the amount of $215,000 for CIP 5C Northeast Academy Air Quality.
Bailey, second.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor for CIP 5C Northeast Academy Air Quality in the amount of $215,000 made by Representative Whitney, seconded by Representative Bailey. Is there any questions or discussion? I do have a question, and I don't know if Superintendent Austin can clarify, or one of anyone else here. But when my kids were little, we used to go to Northeast Academy for Parks and Rec programming, and that school, smelled like mold, and the ground was super soggy. And so I guess I'm not surprised that there are these issues at Northeast Academy. That was the former school, sorry, Freeman Hathaway. Sorry, said the wrong name. But I guess I just am just curious, since I noticed them and I am not an engineer, why wasn't that taken into account when the building was built? Why do we have a CIP that is going to be $1.215 million over the next several years to rectify something that could have been addressed before the building was built? It's not a surprise. The conditions, the hydrologic conditions at that site did not change.
Well, as you know, the town did decide to build 2 new buildings, and Northeast Academy was put in the same place, which is wetlands. It's a wetter area. Catherine Kolnowski also is the twin school, and they're really on the other side of town in kind of a higher elevation. So they don't have the same kind of problems, but the air handlers, even that they had put on, we had to do a Fuss and O'Neill report. And I do have Sam Kilpatrick on here who could really answer this probably even better than I can. But, because of the report and because of the guidance that they were given, they've been able to rectify this. And air quality has been carefully, measured and watched, but there's still the wetlands at Northeast. So while the inside of the building is much drier, we still have the wet playgrounds. And we really want to take care of this. We don't know that we're going to have to replace all those air handlers. But I have to say that they've really found a solution that seems to be working now. And I think this project of $215,000 will hopefully even make it better, the situation. I don't know, Sam, did you want to add anything else to that?
No, I think that clarifies it. I think it might be beneficial to explain to others that anybody that might be listening in other than the RTM members that this is for drainage around the building. So what we might call curtain drains, French drains, those sorts of things, which will help drain the water away from the building and hopefully drain the water off of the playground, which at times of the year is unplayable at this point. We don't have an answer for why it was built there. That was built, it's been 15 years since it was built there, but and what we've done since the Funston O'Neill report is our maintenance department, our technicians have instituted active dehumidification, which is essentially using the boilers to dry the air as it returns to the building to take the moisture out of the air that returns to the building. So through active dehumidification, we've mitigated the problem. Our technician, our DDC technician, Jamie Anderson, monitors the building on a continuing basis, daily basis. He's always checking that building on a daily basis. So up to this point, we've been able to handle it that way. And as Superintendent Austin mentioned, if this continues, as we continue to monitor it, if it continues, then hopefully we will not have to replace the HVAC units that are on the roof. That I think $200,000 a year for 5 years. So by next year, we should have a better reading on it, know exactly what it's costing us to run the heat to do this, and make a better informed decision next year.
Thank you. Representative Washington.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Will this site work allow the children to go outside and have recreation outside?
Yes, they really do get a lot of recreation outside. And when the fields are wet, Northeast Academy has just this wonderful faculty that they are always outside. They take these walks and these mass breaks, and they have these wonderful paths in the back of the school that they do these nature walks. So they do get them out. I think when it really rains hard and when you've got some inclement weather, it does saturate. So there might be periods of time where kids aren't able to go to a particular playground area, but they do get outside and play. So I hope that answers your question, but I think this will make it even better for them.
Thank you. Representative Bailey.
Yes, thank you very much. And this is just maybe a recommendation. Obviously, draining it could be an issue because it could drain back through the ground, and you know, nothing can stop the underwater table. But have you? This may be to Mr. Sam Kilpatrick. Have you all thought about maybe like a pump, like a water pump or something that can be automatically sensed and just kick on and into the sewer? Maybe. No, we haven't considered that, but we'll certainly talk about it. The engineer, I actually just met with the engineers again this morning to discuss this project so that we can, I can get an estimate on the plans. So we're moving forward with that at this time. So I'll talk to him about that, but there is enough slope at that site that we'll be able to, at least according to the Funston O'Neill report and the engineers that have been to the site, that we'll be able to drain it to the back of the property without any major problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry, were you calling on me?
No, I had said Representative Richards.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. To get cut out there for a moment. I have a question. I guess I would point to Superintendent Austin. I'm just curious if there has been in the past and if there's continued kind of regular, maybe every 6 months or so, kind of check-ins with the staff and perhaps the families as well at Northeast Academy to see if they have a perception of the air quality there and if they have noticed any improvements or still see some problems.
I would have to say Representative Richards that the staff was really diligent about communicating on a regular basis when we did have concerns, and families too. And so that it was being monitored not only by Sam Kilpatrick's staff, but by our own teachers. I mean, they were able to monitor the level of humidity, and they would let us know if they felt uncomfortable, if there was anything. And I would say it just made us more cognizant of all of our buildings. I know that even over April break, all the filters were cleaned and changed. So the HVAC systems are really a very important, tool that we really have to keep, take care of. And especially during COVID, we had to make sure in particular that we were taking very good care of the heating and air conditioning and the quality of air in the buildings. So you're right, they do communicate, and it's important that they do.
Thank you. Just to follow up, have you had responses saying that they have noted an improvement in the air quality?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, there's a couple teachers when we do walkthroughs that will repeatedly say how things are so much better. There was one teacher that had a carpeted area that we had to tile, and her room for some reason was particularly, uncomfortable with the humidity. So that it has been really rectified, and she certainly tells me every time I see her just about that it's much better.
Glad to hear this improvement. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Representative Powers?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Mr. Kilpatrick, a quick question. As far as the units themselves on top of the buildings, we have a swap out plan eventually, right? What's their life expectancy? 20, 25 years for the AC units on the roof?
Yeah, the units on the roof are very high quality. They're AON unit, which are top of the line. But according to the Fuss and O'Neill report, their life expectancy is 15 to 20 years. However, we're finding in the field that they last a lot longer than that. And due to the fact that we have an excellent group of technicians working directly for us, they're not subcontractors, but they're actually employees that take very good care of these units. And we're up there doing preventive maintenance on those units on a continuing basis. And Fuss and O'Neill engineers, when they came, made remarks about what a great job that our guys were doing, keeping that equipment in the shape that it is.
That's great. They still have parts for all those units, correct? I mean, they're not going to be outdated in the next 10 years.
They do at this point. If I could just add one other thing to the question from the earlier question. One of the other benefits of doing the active dehumidification is that we've put units or thermostats in the classroom that also indicate the humidity right there in some of the classrooms. And there's one in each wing of the building. So the teachers can actually go over there and touch the unit. It will tell them what the humidity is in the room. And we've been very fortunate to be keeping the humidity down.
That's great. You've done a great job with that. Really appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. And thank you all for the work that you do. Just a quick question of clarification. This CIP you mentioned this project, as described, would possibly have some improvement effects on the playground situation as far as those areas that do get flooded, but it's not designed to directly affect that. Is that correct?
No, actually part of this would be provided that the bids come in reasonably, would be to also work on that the larger playground space. The the curtain drains or French drain area that is going to be worked on actually will go through the earlier, the early childhood playground and would help mitigate the problems on that playground. But hopefully the bids come in low enough that we'll be able to get the upper playground done too.
Okay, great. Sounds good. I hope they come in on that level as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I see no more hands up, no more questions. So we do have a motion on the floor for account CIP 5C Northeast Academy Air Quality in the amount of $215,000. That motion was made by Representative Whitney and seconded by Representative Bailey. All in favor of that, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion passes unanimously, 36 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. Representative Powers, did you wish to ask a question? Sorry, I didn't see you before we voted. No. Seeing that hand go down. Oh, we do have a last item on our agenda, which is the CIP 5D. Chair Whitney, if you'd like to lead us through that.
Yes, I'll read the last part of minutes too to get us through the end.
Yep.
CIP 5D, SB Butler fuel tank removal. This is page 225. Motion by Representative Fitzgerald to recommend $50,000 for CIP 5D, SB Butler fuel tank removal. Seconded by Representative Gustafson. Discussed, passed, 8 in favor, none opposed, and no abstentions. Discussion included the need for fuel tank removal because this in-ground tank is at the end of its 30-year lifespan, the replacement with an above-ground rental tank, the possibility of seeking brownfield grants for tank removal, and the likelihood that the state would grant an extension beyond this year for the current tank. The meeting adjourned at 7:34 p.m. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the R.T.M. Education Committee for the meeting on April 27th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the R.T.M. Education Committee from April 27th, 2021. That motion made by Representative Whitney and seconded by Representative Powers. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes of the April 27th Education Committee meeting, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, those minutes are approved unanimously. Would you like to put a motion on the floor?
Yes. I move the amount of $50,000 for CIP 5D SB Butler fuel tank removal.
Bailey, second.
All right, we have an motion on the floor for CIP 5D, SB Butler fuel tank removal in the amount of $50,000 made by Representative Whitney, seconded by Representative Bailey. Any questions or discussion? Representative Pacino.
Why are we going with a temporary above ground tank and not a permanent above ground tank or permanent below ground tank, however it may be? To whomever.
I can't see Ms. Austin, so I'll take that, I guess.
Yes, go ahead.
My screen isn't big enough, I guess, to keep everybody on there. Yeah, so we are going to be turning that building over to the town, and that's why we're doing the tank. Well, the tank, it's like it has to come out by September 1st of this year, so that's why we're doing it. But I certainly didn't want to leave this for the town to have to do after we turned it over to the town. And we're going to put the temporary tank in there only because we don't know what the town is going to want to do with that building. So it seemed to be more cost effective to rent a tank until they determine exactly what they want to do with that building.
Outstanding. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Representative Whitney.
Yes, at the time of our meeting, it wasn't looking good that the state would grant an extension beyond this year for the current tank, but it wasn't quite resolved yet. I was wondering if there's any update on that.
Yes, the state is not going to grant us a waiver on it.
That it? Madam Clerk?
I just have a question. So after this current school year, you're not going to put students there next year because they'll be going to either Cutler or the new schools. So why would we, as a town, put even a temporary in if we're going to level the building?
Trying to unmute. It actually hasn't been determined whether it will be leveled or whatnot at this point. If that is determined before we remove the tank, then we wouldn't put the temporary tank there.
Follow up, couldn't you just wait then? I mean, you're talking about after June, probably not until after September you would get to it. I mean, really, seriously, couldn't you wait?
Well, when we get into the cooler weather, we want to make sure that we maintain the building in case the town is going to use it for some other purpose. So I guess I would leave that to the town manager and maybe Public Works to make that determination at that time.
I do think it's worth leaving, having it there until we know what's going to happen with it. No matter what, that building's going to be around for a while, so we should maintain it.
Representative Washington?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. How much is the rental fee for the tank?
I don't have a quote on that yet. I had a rough estimate of less than $10,000 a year.
Thank you.
Oh, Chair Watson. Oh, no, it's Representative Watson. Sorry.
It's the other Watson. I just kind of reminds me a little bit about what happened in Millbank School, where we kind of let things go. I think it's really important if you don't know what to do with the building, to have some kind of temporary tank there. Millbank School just got riddled with mold and all kinds of mildew and whatever else. I think it's important considering we don't know what we're going to do with the school. And as Sam has said, if we decide we're going to knock it down before the tank is out, he's not going to spend the money anyway.
Representative Washington, did you have another question?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Can I just ask, so the fuel tank will have to be taken out either way, right? Because it's at the end of its life?
Yes, we would be fine if it weren't taken out.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, we have a motion on the floor for CIP 5D for SB Butler fuel tank removal in the amount of $50,000. That motion was made by Representative Whitney, seconded by Representative Bailey. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Portner abstains.
All right, that motion passes 35 in favor, none opposed, 1 abstention. So at this point, I would take a motion to recess.
I make a motion.
Bailey, second.
Okay, I think that motion was made by Representative Kopp and seconded by Representative Bailey. And before I call that, I know it's non-debatable, but I wanted to thank Chair Whitney for his minutes and service on that part of our agenda. So thank you. Sorry, I forgot to thank you. So we have a motion on the floor to recess until it will be Monday, the 17th. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that motion carries. And I also want to thank Mr. Kilpatrick and Superintendent Austin and Chair Watson, if she's still with us, and welcome Mr. Piazza. So thank you all for, providing us with necessary information to understand these agenda items. So thank you for staying up late.
Great, and thank you for your support.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I'll see you on Monday, the 17th, and with luck, we could finish the agenda, and if not, we'll have to continue sometime, but we are up against a hard deadline of the 24th. Hi. All right, thumbs up.
See you on Monday.
All right, thank you, guys. Bye.